Welcome back to the plot, everyone. It's a glorious day up here today. It's quite quiet, so I thought I'd get a little bit of filming in as I do a few jobs. The sun is shining. I think it's the 9th, possibly the 9th or the 10th of October, not quite sure. But yeah, glorious day. So hopefully get a few jobs done today. A lot of the jobs is going to be harvesting the last of some of the crops. So I'm going to be getting the last of the beans. I've left them on the vine to pod up to get big, so I can take them as peas and beans and dry the beans out and use them during the year. Raspberries, yeah, there'll be more raspberries getting picked. Time to pick the chillies, I think. We're not going to get many more warm days like this, so we're going to pick all the rest of the chillies. Dolores picked all her chillies last week and she got 177, I think, or 175, round about that number anyway. So I will pick all my chillies and we'll see how my chilli harvest compares to Dolores's. But other things we're going to do is I've brought a load of cardboard up, so I'm going to cover up some of the beds that are not going to get used over the winter, just to suppress the weeds a little bit. So basically I tidied up as well. We had lots and lots of rain last weekend, so I haven't been up for about 2 weeks now. So the grass could probably do with a trim. But the weather's going to be good tomorrow, and I've got Tuesday off all day, so I've got a list of jobs to do. But the first list of things on the jobs is harvesting the last of the beans, the chillies, the raspberries, things like that. So let's go and have a look and see what needs to be done. Now the first thing that I've had a look at is the squash. Now, because this was the second one, because the other one got slugged, I don't know how much longer this plant's going to survive out here. We do get mild winters down here, but we still do get frost, and I think the first frost will destroy the vine, but we'll leave that going a little bit longer. There's some chard there, I can take some of that, and I might take one of those little lettuces, and there's some beetroot down there as well. Let's see what else we've got. Spring onions, definitely a few carrots now. I don't know whether there's a problem with the seeds in that packet. Mind you, I used 2 different packets, so yeah, not too good. Looking at the spring onions, I can see slug damage on there and on there. So I might put a few pellets in there just to stop any slugs. They're probably snails, not slugs. If you leave things lying around this, I find you get a lot of snails. But yeah, I've brought cardboard up. I'm not going to cover these beds because I'm going to use these beds. This bed, I'm going to be planting my broad beans in. So I've got some broad beans, and this one here, I'm going to be putting my garlic in. So yeah, we'll get rid of some of that. This bed was only made earlier this year, so still some of the brambles roots need to come out. But what I do have to get is all the chillies, and I'm hoping for a good harvest from here. But I'll need to take the cover off first. The raspberries, you can tell by the colour, the raspberries are dying off now, but there is still a lot of berries on this, and it is fantastic. So I've got a tub up, I'll get plenty of them. I'm going to empty this and get rid of the gooseberries. I'm going to give the gooseberry plants away. But the other thing I'm up here for today is beans. As you can see, there's a swelling up now, so I'll be taking all the fat ones off and using them to dry the beans out and get dry beans. And I'll be doing the borlotti beans that are over there. This area needs a bit of a trim and a tidy up. These were onions. I'm going to plant these into individual cell trays. I've got some new cell trays, so I'm going to do that with them. And I might actually take these beetroots out and put them in the ground. So yeah, there's a lot of jobs to be done, and I best get started with them. Well, I've picked a few beans, but I'm going to leave them to dry on the vine a little bit longer. The borlotti beans, quite a few of them have dried already. So, mind you, there wasn't an awful lot on the vine to start with. So, yeah, I've picked off all the dry ones of these. But I think I'm going to leave these. These are still rather green. So, I think I'm going to leave these on the vine to dry a bit longer. And as you can see, they're about the same size as a baked bean. If I can get my hand in the shot. They're about the same size as a baked bean. So, we've quite a lot still on that. But yeah, these are too wet at the moment, so I'm going to let them dry. So I'm going to go and collect all the raspberries. Well, I've picked all the raspberries, and yeah, that's a bumper crop. I think we shall have them with some ice cream tomorrow. I've still got a stash of these in the freezer. But yeah, the raspberries have done really well this year. So the next thing I'm going to do is get on with the chillies. Well, Dolores and Nyla, I've picked all my chillies and I've laid them all out and I've counted them. So I haven't counted them all. I've got about a dozen at home that I took off last week or the week before because they were red. And what I've got here is from 3 plants, because one of my plants turned out to be a jalapeno. I've got a 4th plant at home, which has got plenty of chilies on it, but I'll show you what I've got here right now. Okay, so there you go. Each of them is a pile of 10 chilies. So I've counted it out, there's about 186 there. And not counting that one because that's a jalapeno, of a jalapeno plant. But the range from that size to that size, that's about the smallest size I picked. We did say that we would only pick up anything above 4 centimetres. So if you measure that, that's over 5 centimetres. So that size is allowed. But yeah, all these chilies from a dried chilli that I bought in Kuala Lumpur 3 years ago. So if you've got any old seed, don't throw them away. Throw them in a pot of dirt and see what you get out. But yeah, these are good. In fact, I might use some of these tonight, because I took one of my cabbages off down there a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's fantastic. I found a recipe for like Indian spiced cabbage, and it's fantastic. So we're going to have that tonight, and I think I'm going to take that off because looks like something's been chewing that, and I don't mean anything sluggy, I mean something big. So I think I'm going to take that out. I've got some kale here, which is doing rather well. And a slug there. The broccoli is all gone to seed, as you can tell. I'm going to take one of those out and give them to Pip's rabbits this evening when I get home. But you can see the silver trail up the net from with the slugs. So there you go, Gourmet's Chili Challenge is over, and I declare myself the winner. I'm actually in the conservatory today, and the reason I'm in here is because we've harvested all the chilies and now I'm going to dry them. We started off with dried chilies that I brought in Kuala Lumpur, really brittle, dry red chilies. So the chilies we took off the plants, most of them were green. I've left them this week to ripen up, so I've got quite a few red ones now. So I'm now going to put them in a dehumidifier and dry them up, and hopefully once they're dried up I'll be able to store them in a jar and they'll last for a long time without going off, and I'll have some nice red chilies for a long time. So let me swing a camera around and I'll show you what I'm up to. Okay, so I'll start with the bottom layer. We'll see how many we can get in, because this will be the layer that's closest to the heating element. I probably won't need to use all the different layers, because there's quite a few red ones, but we'll see what happens. Don't know how some of them are quite an odd shape as well, so I don't know how the lid's going to fit on properly or not. Let's see, we'll try. Oh, that's okay. Is that one right? No, that's better. So once these are all dry, I'll just I've got a few of the ones I actually brought back from Kuala Lumpur still left. So once I dry these, I'll compare them to the ones I've had stored in an airtight jar. when I actually got back to the house and I checked, I had one of these chili plants in the shed. So I got 188 at the allotment, and I got another 37 from the one that was in the shed. So yeah, it's quite a good haul from 4 plants. Even got one like a pig's tail. So I think that'll do it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the temperature up, and you can hear right away the fan starts whirring away. So all we do now is we just leave that until we get some dried chilies. So I'll bring you back later and show you what we've got. Well, it's several hours later and I'm just going to shut this off. And these have dried out quite well. Let me just show you what we've got. So these are actually crisp and dry now. That one's still a little bit soft, but these are all dry and ready for storing. I'll just show you an example of the ones. That's one of the ones that I brought back from Kuala Lumpur. I won't point at it with my big bruised nail. Yeah, these ones are slightly redder, or more redder. But yeah, I reckon if I was to do this every other year, I would be self-sufficient in dried red chilies. So yeah, good experiment. I'm glad I tried that out. And yeah, lots of chilies. So thanks for watching. If you're interested in the videos I'm putting out, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, or hit the bell. Hit the bell and you'll be notified whenever any new videos come out. But that's it for now. So good night everyone.